What is our net worth at 28 years old? What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about my wife and I's net worth. I'm really excited to talk to you guys about this. However, this is just for entertainment purposes. I'm not a financial advisor or anything like that. Make sure you are talking to a professional if you're looking at investing or doing anything like that. This is just our personal finance journey, and I want to share that with you because I believe anybody can do this, and I think that's important to share with the world. So prior to starting on this wealth journey, I brought in about $30,000 to $35,000 worth of debt. The majority of that was school debt, and just to be honest with you, I made really poor decisions going into looking at what university I wanted to go to and what I wanted to study. I had a lot of recommendations from friends and family, and I just ignored all of it. And it was, ultimately it was just stupid on my end. And so in 2014, I believe, yes, 2014, I ended up dropping out of school, and due to not being able to afford. I went to a private school that was out of state, and it just cost an arm and a leg to go there. And the business office basically told me, hey, you're digging yourself a massive hole. You're not going to be able to, you're not going to be able to stay here. And granted, it probably should have been handled in a little bit better way. Nonetheless, they were pretty much right. And so my wife was at the same university, and so she knew about this. She kind of walked me through that process, or we walked together through that process. It was hard. It was difficult. I was really ashamed, and I felt horrible about myself because I'm the oldest of my siblings. And so going back home and explaining, why I didn't finish school when both my parents had, was not an easy conversation to have. And I beat myself up really, really hard over it. But fast forward to 2017, my wife and I get married. And right out of the gate, my wife got a really good job working as a PA at one of the hospitals where we live. And she wanted to buy a house, and I, for whatever reason, got really, really nervous. And prior to this happening, maybe a few months, I'd heard of a financial guy on the radio. I was driving to go visit my wife while she was in PA school, and I just remember hearing someone talking about finances. And I had always been interested in making money, having my own business, but I had never really put in much thought about personal finance. And so I started looking around and came across Dave Ramsey, and then I ended up watching some of the Ramsey show, and I recognized the voice really, really well. And I was like, this is who I was looking for. Now, my idea, our thesis, or whatever you want to call it, our view on money and how you should utilize it and how you should utilize debt versus not utilizing debt has changed since then. However, we had no personal finance background. And so I brought that idea to my wife, and she was pissed. She was not happy with me. She wanted to buy a house because that's what everybody did. You get a good job, you buy a house and whatnot. And I told her, hey, let's hit the brakes. Maybe we should worry about paying off my debt. Maybe we should rent a little bit and go from there. And that was not a fun conversation to have. That was a very difficult conversation to have, but it was a conversation that has changed our life forever. And so I call into the show, and I basically say, Mr. Ramsey, my wife and I are about to get married. This was like right before we got married. And I said, I don't know if we should buy a house. She wants to buy a house. I don't know if we should. I'm thinking maybe we should rent. What are your thoughts? And he was like, I think you should probably rent based off of what you're saying, or, based off of what you told me in terms of like where we were financially. I brought that to my wife. She said she still wasn't happy, but Mr. Ramsey had bought us his course called Financial Peace University. And I said, let's at least go through this. And then afterwards, if you're not happy with the information we learned and you still want to buy a house, then okay, we can buy a house. Over the next basically 2 months, we go through Financial Peace. And towards the beginning of January, we had, towards the end of the course, we had decided, okay, we're going to rent. And we found a place to rent for about $800 a month. Not only are we going to rent, we are going to pay off my debt, and then from there we're going to save for our house. Well, we took my wife's savings, which was about $16,000, and we paid off half of my debt. And then we took the next 6 months all the way up until June to pay off the rest. And there's no other feeling that the feeling of like paying off your final debt is insane to me. And like I've said, since then, our idea of how we utilize debt has changed. We only take out, we use debt for mortgages. That's the only debt that we have are the mortgages now. But that's because you can buy real estate, rent it out, and have someone else pay down the mortgage. But nonetheless, that was an incredible feeling. And it taught us a lot about being disciplined. It taught us a lot about living below your means, and that there are a lot of fun things that you can do that don't require a ton of money. And if you want to, go on a vacation or something like that, you can do that while also paying off debt or while also building wealth. You just have to plan ahead. And so that is why I'm showing this to you, because you can do it. It just takes a lot of hard work and it takes a lot of sacrifice, and you have to plan ahead. But it's totally worth it. So let's jump into my Google Sheets so I can show you what our net worth is. Okay, so this is a really simple Google Sheets that I put together really quick, real simple. It shouldn't be hard to understand. We have 3 columns: assets, liabilities, and our net worth. You have total for each column, and there you go. So the first two, the largest two, are the houses. Is our primary residence and our rental property. So our primary residence is $176,000. Roughly. Now this is based off of Zillow, and I just went with the number that they showed us. So they have our property estimated at about $176,000. We bought the property at $145,000, and we only put $7,000 down. So just to give you an idea, that means we have about $40,000 worth of equity. Well, it's about 50 now, but $30,000 worth of equity and appreciation, and then just what we've paid down over the past couple of years. So there's that. 3 years, right? Yes, 3 years. So $176,000 for our primary, $135,000 for our rental property that we just bought. With the market going as crazy as it is, we bought it at $125 in July. It's at $135 now. Who knows where it's going to go? Who knows if that's going to go back down or if it could continue going up? Either way, we put $25,000 down. We have about $35,000 worth of equity just based off the appreciation there. We have $50,000 in my wife's Roth 401k through our work, and we have $3,500 in a Vanguard, about $3,500 in a Vanguard account that we just recently opened. We have $200 in my Robinhood account, $70 in my Fundrise account, and $25 in my Coinbase account. My business is worth about $5,000 just in terms of all of the, just everything that I have in terms of stock. There we go. Couldn't get the word out. And then in total liquid cash, we have $21,873.90. So that comes out to a total in terms of assets, $391,668.90. Now for our liabilities. Like I said, the only debt that we have is the mortgages on our properties. I did not take out a loan to start my business. I think that is the dumbest thing you can possibly do. It's beyond stupid to me, and it doesn't make any sense. However, I know some people do that, and they have become very successful. But for me, if the business fails, I just want to be able to walk away. I don't want to have to owe anything to anybody. So. The primary residence that we have, there's about $118,000 left on the mortgage. And the rental property, there's about $99,000 left on that mortgage, which comes out to a total of $217,000, which is a big number. It's a lot of debt. I will say that carrying that amount of debt is pretty stressful. Well, at least initially. Now that I'm thinking about it, now that we have a rental property, someone's paying that down. We're paying down our mortgage. We're also putting a portion of the rental money into an account that we don't touch, and that's building. It makes it a little bit easier to deal with that debt. And then just thinking about like multifamily, duplexes, triplex, quadplex, just thinking about how you could utilize that to build more money, do it at a faster rate, and then also have that money pay off any mortgages in case you have a vacancy or something like that. You start getting into like nuanced things, and it's just really interesting to me. And then you start thinking about that debt, and it becomes a little bit smaller in your mind, at least for me anyways. But that leaves our net worth at a total of $174,668.90. That is a crazy number to wrap my head around, because that means we've had about a $200,000 like net worth swing. It's mind-numbing to think about. Absolutely mind-numbing. I'm not showing this to you and telling you about this because I want to flaunt or anything like that. In all honesty, $174,000 in comparison to how wealthy some people actually are is not that much. I will say that $174,000 is well above where we're supposed to be for our age group, or I guess the averages for our age group. And it is really, really awesome to know that we are going to continue to build wealth, and that we're building wealth at a rate that will not only take care of my wife and I when we're older, but will also take care of our children and our children's children. Our goal is to leave a legacy and to change our financial tree. And I come from a family that doesn't handle finances very well, at least my parents. And that's not okay with me. I watched them struggle my entire life, and I don't want that for my wife and I definitely don't want that for my kids. And I also look forward to teaching this information to my son, and however many other kids we end up having. And I'm sharing this with you because I want you to know that you can do it. It's possible. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of dedication. It takes, not spending money and investing it. And for my wife and I, I haven't had a job the past 4 years. All of this is because of the money that my wife makes, and then us coming together and not spending money. I have a business that I have that's a startup, but I don't make much from it, if anything. And so if you are stuck, or you're confused, or you don't know where you're going, or you don't know what you're doing, believe me, I've been there. And just know that you're going to be okay. Reach out, find personal finance books. If FPU might be an option for you, find a financial advisor that can sit down with you and kind of guide you, and then start taking your finances very seriously, because you can do this. You can build wealth, and you can do it in a lot shorter time than what you think. It just takes some dedication, some sacrifice, and time. So thank you so much for watching. I won't be making these kind of videos very often, maybe once a year, just because there's no real reason in my mind to show you this every couple of months. I'll just show you once a year. But yeah, if you have any comments or anything that you want to say, or have any questions, the comment section below is a great place to get in contact with me. I love talking with you guys and interacting with you guys. So leave your questions down there. I will read through them and answer them to the best of my ability. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Oscar, and I will see you guys in the next video.